Hello my friends, it's Gabriel with The Last Huntsman Outdoors here. So I'm here to kind of settle a bit of controversy here between two knives. And there's two knives that are kind of popular right now, and some people are trying to say that they look the same or that they're the same knife or one copied the other, blah 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 blah, all that good stuff. And I'm here to disprove that and just simply say, no, they're not the same knife. No, they're not copying one another. And when you get them in hand, they're two totally different knives. And the two knives I'm talking about, the Puzon Wilderness Bowie and the V44X. Both of them by Work Tuff Gear. This one's obviously designed by Dave Puzon. This one is designed by Reece with Well Regulated. And when you really kind of look at these two knives side by side, you kind of quickly disprove that they're the same knife or that they're copying one another. They totally feel different. They feel different in hand. Just the function of them is different. And the only thing that they kind of have similar going is that they're both a Bowie knife. Now, I want to just count something real quick. Everybody tries to claim that they designed a Bowie knife and blah blah blah, and you know, they'll give you all kinds of weird history to it. But Jim Bowie did not design the Bowie knife. The Bowie knife's been around for a long time. You could look it up. It's a German messer. It goes all the way back to medieval times. So unless if you were around in 1100 AD, then you didn't design the Bowie knife. Everybody's had a Bowie knife of some kind since then. It's a popular knife because it works, that's why. Now back to these, our modern Bowie knives here. Comparing these two, to me, is almost like comparing a German STG 44 and an AK 47, just because they kind of have a similar shape. But when you get an STG 44 in hand or an AK 47 in hand, you'll quickly realize that they are totally different designs. Now, let's compare these two blades. The Puzon Bowie is obviously heavier. It's thicker. It's a 1/4 inch thick. The V44 is 3/16. The V44 is based off of the World War II V44, and I'll show a picture of that. So it's based off of a World War II historical era knife that the Marines used. So, you know, when you kind of look at the V44, you'll quickly see, you know, what this knife was inspired by. This is just a modern take on the V44. The Puzon Bowie is obviously just a big, heavy chopping woods blade, and it kind of, if I recall right, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it kind of has like a Filipino flair to it with the handle shape. And, you know, speaking of the handle shape, this has a continuous curved handle, and the handle is very round, and it has kind of a deep grip into there. While the V44 is pretty much straight on the back, and then it feels similar to like a Becker. If you really like the Becker type handles, that's kind of how this feels to me anyways, which I like it quite a bit. I like both of these knives, so I'm not trying to like crap on one or the other, because I like them both, but I'm just showing you guys that they're both two totally different knives. Now, the function of the V44 is more of a combat knife. He designed it as like a combat knife with a secondary as like a bush survival knife. And when you get this knife in hand, you can tell that it definitely feels a lot lighter. It's a lot more nimble and agile. This feels like almost like a BK9 in its weight and agility, versus the Puzon Wilderness Bowie. It's definitely a lot more blade heavy. It's a heavier chopper. This, to me, and you know, Dave Puzon might have his own say, but I'm just saying this as a knife reviewer, this to me feels a lot more like a heavy chopper woods blade. So both of these are obviously two different kinds of blades, and when you really kind of start to look at them, they don't really quite look the same. So just because they kind of have a similar shape, like the STG-44 and AK-47, doesn't mean that they are the same or even function the same. But I'm just going to wrap this up real quick. I just wanted to show that so I could kind of nip some of this in the bud, so people who aren't trying to like point one out to the other. I'll just say this: I think they're both great knives. I have them both for a reason. I like them both, and just big ass Bowie knives are freaking cool. But if you want something more of just a heavy chopping woods blade, definitely check out the Puzon Wilderness Bowie. If you want something that's more of historical USMC fighting knife type of blade, then definitely check out the V44. These will be coming out sometime in December, last I checked. And you know, to Reece, who designed this, Semper Fi, buddy, awesome knife. With all that being said, be prepared both physically and spiritually. God bless, and carry on.